I don't remember the first time I felt like I wasn't good enough. Maybe that's a good sign, since it couldn't have been that traumatic if I can't recall it. Or maybe it doesn't really matter, and it just goes to show that I felt this way for so long, it's become part of who I am. I may not remember the exact moment where my mind decided to go to war against itself, but I remember times where shots were fired and casualties suffered. I thought I could do something about it. I thought that there must have been something I could change about myself that would make somebody say, "Amanda, you did it. You're finally good enough." I tried. I tried so fucking hard. I graduated high school in 2011 with a 4.1 GPA. I didn't even know that you could get higher than a 4.0, but there I was with a gold cord hanging from my neck at graduation. The noose of validation that I was an intellect and I achieved something that not everyone else could. Didn't matter. I thought maybe if I get really good at soccer, my mom will take an interest. That maybe if I get good enough, she'll stop asking me why I couldn't have just danced like a normal girl, why I had to be one of the boys, why I had to let people think that I was a lesbian because I cared more about sports than glittered chapstick. I thought maybe if I make varsity, she'll come to a game. But when I looked up in the stands, I only saw my dad, and the space next to him was almost as empty as the way looking at it made me feel. I know. If I make varsity in soccer and basketball, then she'll come. Well, I got to my senior year of high school, and a teammate asked me if my mom died when I was younger because they never saw her at a game and I never spoke about her. How was I supposed to say that? No, my mom is alive, but I guess I'm not important enough for her to prove it. I felt like there was always something to prove. Eventually, I stopped trying to prove things to other people, or I thought I did. And before you think, oh, good for you, you finally stopped seeking external validation and you accepted yourself for who you were, let me stop you right there, because I didn't accept myself. In fact, I hated myself so fucking much that on Mother's Day of my freshman year of high school, I sat in the backseat of my parents' Hummer on the way home from brunch. My stomach was full of lasagna and virgin strawberry daiquiris. My whole family was reminiscing on jokes that my grandpa told that were obviously politically incorrect. And instead of joining in with the laughter, I leaned my head against the window with sad music coming through my headphones, pretending my life was a music video, when in reality, I knew I wasn't interesting enough to be watched. After all, even my parents muted me. That was when I thought, when I get home, I'm gonna cut myself. It came out of nowhere. I had never done it before. I'd scratched myself a few times, superficially. I blamed it on my cousin's puppy or the bitch who blocked my layup in basketball. But I had never been one of those kids, you know, the really fucked up ones. But hey, it's the first time for everything, right? So when I got home, I said goodnight and I closed my door. I reached into my closet, rummaging through the bookshelf that held all of the crap that I never used but held onto just in case. Like the plethora of tissue boxes my mom insisted on storing, or the autographed book that you get every Disney character to sign when you visit Magic Kingdom. That's when I grabbed the compass. And no, I wasn't trying to find the North fucking Star. It was one of those math compasses, you know, the ones that make the perfect circle that just so happen to also make the perfect cut across your wrist. I'd never taken drugs, but when I watched my own blood make these scarlet, intricate ribbons down my skin, I thought, this must be what a high feels like. That was the day I officially became one of those kids. I left the Pee-wees and I entered the major leagues of self-destruction. But even that stopped working after a while, so I decided to take a break from playing with sharp objects. Besides, you never realize how fucking hot it gets during summertime until you're forced to wear long sleeves to hide the fact that you don't know how to exist without literally coming apart. So I switched it up. And when I was 17, I found a new way to get rid of the shit that was boiling inside of me. I was so excited that I found something that worked. Something that let me get rid of whatever I needed to. You can get rid of anything you want. Sadness, rage. 10 chicken nuggets, a double cheeseburger, 2 slices of pizza, a large Diet Coke, medium chocolate milk slate, 2 slices of bread with butter, and half of a sleeve of Oreos. They don't call it purging for nothing. See, that became my new obsession. My best friend. I spent more time in bathrooms than I did anywhere else. I wondered why nobody said anything. Why no one caught on. I thought for sure I must have smelled like vomit, or at least utter disappointment. To me, they were pretty much the same thing anyway. I started noticing things happening. I noticed the way my hands would shake as if I injected 900 milligrams of caffeine straight into my veins, even though I never put coffee to my lips until the week before my graduation. I noticed that the more I shoved my fingers down the throat, the more I had to pull dead hair out of my brush. I noticed that sometimes the world around me got wobbly, and I started making sure I always walked near a wall. Or how sometimes if I got up too quickly, my heart decided to play jump rope. I wondered how many skips I would get until my turn was officially over. But still, no one noticed. And then I found out why. But she's not even skinny. I just sat there in the doctor's office listening to my mother's words slice through me deeper than any math compass or razor blade or rusty pair of scissors or hidden kitchen knife ever could. I spent months screaming through different parts of my body just to try to be seen, but all I wanted in that moment was to evaporate under the fluorescent lights that felt like they were burning me from the inside out. That was 6 years ago. But even hearing these words now, speaking them, I still feel like that 17-year-old girl that feels nothing but guilt and shame and embarrassment. The one that feels like you're such a fucking failure because you can't even succeed at having an eating disorder. My best friend told me that the only way to succeed at having an eating disorder is to die from it. I thought, doesn't sound so bad. But I said, I don't want that. So here I am, still fighting, if you can even call it that. I traded sports for academics, for razors, for cuts, for scars, for nights spent bent over a toilet. Didn't work. Nothing worked. I try to think back to the first time I felt like I wasn't good enough, as if maybe if I can pinpoint that moment, I can go back in time and stop myself from letting it take over. That maybe I can wave the white flag before my demons get a chance to fire their cannons. But I can't. Because it happened. All of it. I have the scars to prove it, and I wish I didn't. And honestly, I'm afraid that I'm going to spend the rest of my life dodging bullets, only to remember that I'm the one shooting.